Have you ever opened an architectural plan and noticed something important missing, like a center line? Well, that's exactly what happened with today's project. We have a building with 3 floors and a roof, but there is one thing missing, the center line. So what do? Do we scrap the plan or can we still make it work? Stay tuned because today I'm going to show you how to add that center line ourselves and how we can use it to guide the rest of our design. But before we get into it, let me ask you this. How crucial do you think a center line is when designing a building? Does its absence make a huge difference? Let's find out together. Now before we jump into AutoCAD to draw the center line together, let's quickly review what we have already learned. In previous videos, we covered how to draw in ETABS, how to set up grids and units, define materials and sections. We also learned how to use drawing commands that help you work faster. Now it's time to put all of that into practice. But first, let's start by drawing the center line in AutoCAD. And then we will move on ETABS to continue with the next steps. Alright, here we are in AutoCAD. This is the user interface you will be working with. Now if you are new to AutoCAD or not quite sure how to use it yet, no worries. I have got you covered with my professional AutoCAD tutorial playlist. In that series, I explain everything from the basic, how to navigate AutoCAD and how to draw your first shapes. I will leave the link to the full series up here on the screen so you can check it out anytime. Today we are going to dive into this plan. But if you already know your way around or have a bit experience with AutoCAD, then let's dive straight into the action. As we mentioned before, it's a project with a ground floor, first floor, second floor and a roof. But today we will be focused only on this ground floor. So as we can see, here is our parking, passage area, staircase. Here we have a bathroom, then we have the living room, kitchen, guest room. It's also attached to this garden. Here, this is our master bedroom. This bathroom is attached to the master bedroom. Here we have another bedroom. As we can see, there is no center line in this plan and no worries, we will be doing it right now. The first thing we will do is to create a new layer for our center line. So you can just simply type LAYER. Just type layer and click here. Or else you just can click here on layer properties. So we will create a new layer. Just click on this icon, give it a name. Let's name it center line. Color red. Okay, since it's a center line, it's supposed to be a dashed line, so load. From here select center, click on OK. It's here, click on OK. We will give it a thickness of 0.40 and that's it. So now it's not activated. As we can see, the layer which is active right now is the column layer. To activate this center line, just double click on it. Close this window. Now we can start drawing our center lines. We can use two commands. First command is line. You can come here to home and select line and then start drawing. Or else you can type the shortcut for the line, type L, enter or space. And then as we know that the center line is in the mid of the wall, so this is our wall and we want to draw a center line over here. So you just simply press shift, right click and select mid between 2 points. So select your first point, left click, second point, left click. Now move the cursor up throughout the wall. And then just here, not here, at this point X, just left click. This sniping tool will help you to draw. If you want to activate the sniping tool, just look at down here and from here you can activate your sniping tool. For now, just click left click. Now press escape to end command. This was the first way to draw this center line. For now we will delete it, just click on it, delete. The other way, which is the easier one, just type XL, which is the construction line command. Press on enter. Now from here, select vertical. Or you can type V. For now we will select vertical. Now we want to place this line between these two walls. Since you can't get it with the sniping tool, just press on shift, right click, mid between 2 points. Now specify your first point, which is this point. The external walls, left click. And this is our internal wall, left click. Now press escape. I noticed one thing, that we choose a red color for the center line, but it was drawn by a gray color. Just select on it. And from here, it's gray. Just keep it by layer. By layer means that the layer you have created is red. You attach red line to the center line, so here it will follow the same thing. Now press escape. So this is our first center line. Now let's draw the second center line. Here we have another wall. So just type XL, enter, type V, enter. Now as we said, shift, right click and then mid between 2 points. From here change it to by layer. I don't know why this keeps changing. Just get it. Now let's draw it again. XL, enter. V means, since the V here is in blue color, means it's the shortcut. So type V vertical, enter. Do we have another wall here? There is second, this one now. Since there is no, we can place it here. So it's between 2 points. Finally here, meet between 2 points, 1, 2. So done with our vertical construction line. Now to end command, press escape. Type TR, enter to trim these extra lines. But for now just let me draw a line like this and one line here. You know why? Because we want to trim these lines, and here we will put our bubble and spacing. So type TR, enter. So done with our vertical axis. Now let's do the horizontal axis. Type XL, enter. From here select horizontal, or else type H, enter. Hit between 2 points. So that's it for horizontal axis also. Press escape to end command. Now same thing, activate line command, and here press escape, type TR, enter, trim these lines, trim this line. So when you do this work, you should make it more organized. Keep this at specific distance. You can say like half meter, also here for half meter. Now press escape to end command, select this line, delete. Let's move this one, or let's from here type TR, trim this line. Now that we have our center line in place, let's move on to the dim command. We will use it to add dimensions for all the distances. These measurements will be important later when we input them into ETABS for our grid spacing. By the way, if you don't know how to set up a dimension style yet, don't worry, I already made a video just for that. Go and check it out. So now here click on dimension, and let's start measuring from this point to this point. Let's see. You can do it like this, one by one, or just press escape, delete this, and here from annotate, click for quick dimensions, and then select all of these, left click, and this is our dimensions. And for this one we will make it one by one. So from this point to this point, this point to this point, keep them. I'll always remind you that your work should be organized, and we will get fast just to go to ETABS and not make this video. Okay, now we are ready. Now we can trim these lines. Yes, we don't need it. Just trim it. Now that we have got center line, let's head over to ETABS and start working on our model. Do you know what the first thing is we should do when starting a new project? There are 7 main steps that I follow for every project in ETABS. Let's go through these steps together and see how we can implement them in our project. Ready to dive in? Let's get started. This is the ETABS icon. To start it, double click on it. Now that we got our center line drawn in AutoCAD, it's time to switch over to ETABS and start building our new model. So just click here on this new model. You will see this window pop up, and here is where we will select the units and codes for our project. For this project, we will be working in metric units, so make sure to select metric and KS from the drop down menu. So select code. Once we have selected those, hit OK. So from here, use build-up setting, metric and KS, United States, click on OK. Next, we will input the number of floors and the height of each floor. In our case, we have 3 floors plus a roof, so make sure to enter these details here. So number of stories, it's 4, since we have 3 floors plus the roof. It's like this: ground floor plus first floor plus second floor plus roof. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. And for the grid dimension, you can either input the grid values directly here, or I will show you a better way to do it later. For now, leave the grid section blank. Let's move on. Select blank and click on OK. Alright, now we are in the ETABS working area. This is where all the magic happens. As you can see, the interface is clean and straightforward, but there is a lot of power hidden behind those buttons. First thing first, let's make sure we set up our units properly. So from here, click on Units, Consistent Units. As we said, we will be working with meter, ton, and Celsius. Click on OK. Now that we have got our units sorted out, let's dive into setting up the grids. This is an important step and I will walk you through the best way you can do it. Just left click and from here select Add Modify Grids. As we can see here we have our story data, which is the best basis for the foundation. Story 1 will be the ground floor, first floor, second floor, and the roof. And here we have our grid system. Just select it and click on Modify Show Grid System, and let's enter our data here as display data as spacing. If you want to know the difference between these two, just check out my previous videos. So how many spacing do we need to enter? 1, 2, 3, 4. This is in X direction. So let's do it together right now. First space is 2.84. Here is spacing. And we said how many? 4. 2, 3, 4. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have 4 spacing, and as we said, we should end the spacing with 0. So let's add 1. So the first value was 2.84, 0.3, 3.25, and then 2.64, 2.64, and last value is 0. So as we can see, our grid is here. This is for the Y direction, for X direction. Now let's go to Y direction. How many spacings do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 spacing. Let's write them. So we said 5 spacings. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we should end it with 0. So we will start first value 4.7, 4.67, 4.98, 1.32, 1.32, 3.15. And we will end it with 0. So then with our grading, click on OK. Click on OK again. So that's it. Here we are. This is our grid system. Alright, now that we have got our drawing units, code, and grid set up, it's time for step 3, define. In this step, we will define the materials, section properties, loads, and load combinations for our model. Let's start with defining the materials. So go to Define menu, left click, and select Material Properties. Select this 4000 psi, click on Modify Show Materials. So we will name it 2.5 FCU. Here we will enter the vector unit volume to 2.5 and models of elasticity is gonna be 22, 5 zeros, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are the key values we need to enter, the vector unit volume and models of elasticity. But why do we enter these values? I have explained the reasoning in more detail in my previous video, which you can watch now by clicking the link that will appear on the screen. Now click on Modify Show Material Property and let's enter this value, specify concrete compressive strength to 2000. Remember that we are working in ton per meter. Click on OK. Okay, that's it for defining our concrete material. Now let's move on to steel. You can follow the same steps for steel material, or if you need more details, feel free to check out my other video where I explain the material definition in depth. For now, click on OK. Next step, we need to define the sections. We will start with the column, then move on to the beams, and finally to the slab. To define a section, go to Define menu, left click, Section Properties. As we said, column is a frame section, so select Frame Section. We will add a new property, just click here on Add New Property. Concrete and Rectangle Concrete. Now you might be wondering, where do we actually get the dimensions for the columns and beams when we define them in ETABS? Do we just make them up, or do we take them from the AutoCAD drawings? Of course, we take them directly from the AutoCAD drawings. So let's head into AutoCAD. So here we are. Right now we are inside the AutoCAD. As we can see, this is our columns. This column here was placed by the architectural, but keep in mind the person who actually decided and distributed the column is the structural engineer, and that's going to be you. So in the near future, inshallah, we will go into more detail about this, how to set up the structural system, how to place the columns, the beams, and the slabs. But for now, let's take a look at the column placed by the architectural here, because the purpose of this video is to teach you the 7 essential steps you will be working on in any project in ETABS. So let's check the column dimension, then we will switch back to ETABS and define the section. So this is our column dimensions. So the column is 30 by 30 centimeters. So now let's get back to ETABS. Here we are in ETABS, so type C130 into 30 centimeter. Since it's 13 to 30, so the value here is going to be 0.3, also here 0.3. And now let's change the modifiers. Click here, torsional 0.7, 0.7, 0.7. Click on OK. So we define our first column, which is C130 into 30 centimeter. Click on OK. Now let's assume that we have another column. Yeah, this one is different. So let's check it out. I don't know why it's 46. It's supposed to be 30 into 45. So let's assume it 30 by 45. That's why I told you the structural engineer, he is the one who decided the column dimensions and where to place it. So click on this, and add a copy of it. So we will name it C2 and it's 30 by 45 centimeter. And here we have the depth and width. So width is 0.3 and depth is 0.45. Since we add a copy, the modifiers will be already set to 0.7. So click on OK, click on OK. So that's it for the columns. Now let's define a beam. Click here on add new property, select rectangular. Now we will define a beam. Most of the time beams are like walls in shapes. For example, 12 by 60 centimeters or sometimes 25 by 60 centimeters. So now let's define them. First B, we will name it 12 into 60 centimeter. So the depth is 0.6 and width is 0.12. We will set the modifiers. Left click, 0.5, 0.5. Click on OK. So OK. Again selected and then add a copy. We will name it P 25 into 60 centimeter. So depth is 0.6 and width 0.25. Click on OK. So done with defining columns and beams. Click on OK. Now we will define our slab. So just go to define and then section properties. For slab, as we said, it's a slab section. It's not a frame section. Beams and columns are frame section. And for a slab, just click on slab section. Add a new property. Let's name it S20, for example. So thickness is gonna be 0.2. Now click here on modify and change this. And we will change this to 0.25. 0.25. Click on OK. OK. Great. Now that you have defined our materials and sections, it's time to move on to defining the loads and load combination in ETABS. First, let's define the loads. In ETABS, you will typically deal with several types of loads, such as dead load, life load, wind load, earthquake. To define a load, go to define, then select load patterns. So, define load patterns. For now, we will be working only on dead load, life load, floor load, and walls load. So, we will enter now floor cover. Select the type is other, self weight is multiplier is by 0, add a new load. So now dead, life load, and then walls. To know why the value for dead is 1, check out my previous video. Now let's click on OK. So done with defining load patterns, click on OK. Now we will define the load combination. So just go to define and from here select load combination. Now load combination are crucial because they represent how multiple loads interact on the structure. Here where you will define the different scenarios that your structure might face. For example, a typical load combination might be 1.4 dead load plus life load for ultimate load and for combination load. So just click on add new combo, the ultimate load, so let's name it ultimate, and here we have dead load, change this to walls and then floor cover and then life load. So dead load is gonna be 1.4, walls 1.4, and floor cover 1.4, and for life load is 1.6. Click on OK. Now let's add a new combo, which is the working load. Just click on add and name it working. Dead, then life, then floor cover, and finally walls. Just click on OK. So done with the defining of our load combinations. Click on OK. Once the load combinations are set, you are all ready to move on to applying these loads on the structure. But before, we have to draw our plan. So now let's start drawing. Let's check the position of our columns. Let's get back to AutoCAD. It's really difficult to see this way, so all you need just to turn off some of the layers. So we don't need this. Just click here on this turn off, and then select the layers that you want to turn it off. Now it's easier to see. Press escape to end command. We will just start with this column. It's, as we said, it is 13 to 30, this column. So as we see, we forgot to add this center line, so no issues. For now, we will just assume that this column is here. So now we have one column here, second, and here and third, 3 columns here. So now let's draw our column. Just come here to this quick toolbar and select this one, quick draw column. Left click, and from property, make sure you select the 30 into 40 centimeter column. Oh, sorry, it is 13 to 45. We need 13 to 30. You can just place it like this, or just to make it on the center, left click here and then drag and drop. As you can see, the column was drawn here in the 6th floor. So press Ctrl Z and move from story 4 to story 1. Now we are in story 1. Just left click and just here also we have another column, and here we have another column. Now let's get back to our plan. Let's see the remaining places of these columns. Here 1, 2, 3. So in this side we have only 30 into 30 columns, and this side it's okay, that's it. So here let's say another column, another column, another column, and this side we see like this. So now here in the middle, let's say that we have another column of section 13 to 45. Select 13 to 45. Press escape. Now let's say that this column you want to rotate. So just select first end command, press escape to end command, then select it like this. Make sure here it's one joint selected, one frame selected, and then go to assign, frame, local axis, and rotate it. So let's say 90 degree, apply. Click on OK. So that's it for columns. Now let's start drawing our beams. We know that below each wall there is a beam. It depends on your statical system. So for now, just click on draw beam and make sure the property is selected. So let's assume that the external walls are 25 into 60. So from this point to this point, and then this point. Now press escape. So now done with beams and columns. Now let's draw our slab. From here, select this, the irregular one. Just click on it. From here, make sure that the property S20 is selected. Now select your first point, left click, and then second point, third, fourth, and finish it from where you started. Now press escape to end command. So here we are, this is our slab. Let's add some columns here. So column, let's assume it's 30 into 45. 1, 2, 3. Now press escape. Alright, now that we have finished drawing the ground floor, it's time to apply the loads to our structure. This is an important step because without the right load, ETABS won't be able to properly analyze your building. So now let's start applying loads. By selection tool, this one, select object, click on the slab, select the slab because we will apply the load on the slab. Now go to assign, shell loads, and click on uniform. Life, so value 0.2, and then hit on apply. As we can see, we have applied 0.2 life load on our slab. Now we need to select the slab again. See, just click here on previous selection and then change the load from here to floor cover, and the load is 1.5. As you can see here, we have options like add to existing load, replace existing load, delete existing load. For now we have added 0.2. If we select add or replace, it won't make change because now we have changed the load pattern to floor cover. But if it was live, we already add 0.2. So if you say replace, it will replace the 0.2. I'll show you right now. Just click on apply. It replaces it by 0.15. And if you right click on this slab and here loads, you can see that uniform load 0.15. And that's wrong because our life load supposed to be, close this, supposed to be 0.2 according to the code. Just click on apply. No select object is selected. Come here and click on this previous selection. Now apply. Now let's add floor cover as we said 0.15 and click on apply. Sorry, Ctrl J to do previous selection and then apply. So again, right click. As you can see now, we have life and floor cover added. Now let's add our walls. In walls, there are two ways to add the walls, loads. For now, we will just add it on the slab. This is called non-exact method. There are exact and non-exact. Just let it be 0.35 approximately and click on apply. Previous selection, apply, and then click on OK. So that's it for today's video. We have covered a lot, drawing the ground floor, defining materials and sections. and applying loads. But before I end this video, I want to remind you, if you want to learn how to place columns, assign wall loads correctly, and tackle other important parts of this model, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out any further tutorials. In the next video, inshallah, we will continue building our model. We will be working on replicating the floors and designing the roof. So stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next week, same time. Goodbye.